Good morning. Thank you for all being with us on this another important occasion for our state. This is the second time I've been charged with and honored to appoint a Supreme Court justice. The 74th time that I've had that same honor to make a judicial appointment. And each time, I've said this before, it strikes me that these decisions are certainly among the absolute most important decisions that any governor could ever make, and they're certainly humbling ones. Few decisions, obviously, are as impactful for the decades to come, indeed, probably generations, as we look back on the law. Fortunately, today's another reminder about how blessed our state is to have such a deep well of talent and interest, and that is in fact what makes this such a difficult and very thorough process to go through. So I'd first like to thank Chief Justice Loretta Rush and the entire, I see some of the members of the Judicial Nominating Commission for your, call it robust vetting process that goes into each and every one of these selections. It all starts with you all, and so obviously with the three that you forwarded, each of them would have served admirably on our state's highest court. It's certainly true with Justice Stephen David, who is currently our longest-serving member on the Supreme Court, and whose retirement is creating this specific vacancy. After nearly 3 decades of judicial branch leadership, Justice David has served not just our state, but our nation in the Army with constant commitment and distinction every day along the way. You, sir, are leaving a long-lasting legacy, and you will be greatly missed. Big shoes to fill, but I am confident that the next appointee will lace up his own shoes, and he will, in turn, have a significant opportunity to make his own lasting mark on our Supreme Court and the decisions that come from it. So I am pleased to present to Indiana's next Supreme Court Justice, Derek Molter. Judge Molter's extraordinary, both personal and professional qualities are quickly evident to anyone that spends any amount of time with him. It only takes a few minutes to really connect. He has a profound respect for our state constitution and the rule of law. He is absolutely devoted to the cause of justice, both inside and outside the courtroom. And I'll mention a few examples in just a moment. He displays always in his everyday life and in his professional duties the highest level and standard of integrity. And he's a forward thinker, someone who has long-term vision for our state and for the judicial system itself. He's a legal scholar in his own right, brilliant legal mind, extraordinary intellect, graduating top 5 in your law school class. More evidence of that at Indiana University. Go Hoosiers. And in every conversation we've had as we've gotten to know each other over the last year, what also shines through very quickly is he is humble and caring and collaborative. Three traits that I think will not just serve his career, but our state well. In fact, he possesses a long list of positive qualities and traits. He's going to bring all of those to bear and contribute immediately on our Supreme Court, from deciding, yes, important cases, administrating our judicial system itself, inspiring and educating Hoosiers, our neighbors, about the importance of the role of the judiciary in our government system. He's demonstrated, even before his short tenure on the Indiana Court of Appeals, his leadership and his dedication and his commitment to improving our legal system and that administration of justice. He's done this time and time again, like tracing back to your times as an undergraduate student when you invited former Supreme Court Justice, the Chief Justice Randy Shepard, down to speak with your fellow students about the importance of law in our lives, or how you currently serve on the board of the Indianapolis Legal Aid Society, where you are contributing to folks who are in need when it comes to acute issues in their lives, like housing or adoption or family law, the need of those resources. You've offered a multitude of legal articles. Looked through some of them. Thought to myself, where do you find the time? But I know you all do. Served as the editor of the Indiana Law Journal. You've always leaned into how we leverage technology, something that's obviously very important to the court. So there'll be a little transition there in interest. And you've worked to streamline those processes. And by the way, not just here at home, but some of your contributions, you wrote about some proposed changes that would lead to efficiency that actually contributed to federal court processes as well. He's been a leader of the appellate section of the Indiana State Bar, where you currently have led the effort to present a well-attended, all-day continuing legal education seminar on various and numerous important issues when it comes to the law. You've even partnered with appellate judge Leanna Wiseman and the State Bar to organize an effort to collect and donate and assist, provide critical needs and resources to Afghan mothers when they were housed down at Camp Atterbury. I have no doubt that Judge Molter's energy and compassion and leadership and that vision that I spoke of will be of enormous benefit to this court and this next duty. Because I've watched and we've talked at length about his and my deeply held judicial philosophy that properly recognizes the importance of original intent and judicial restraint, among others. And I just love that Judge Molter is, I'd almost consider you a professional volunteer, but I'll say perpetual volunteer. Both, as I mentioned, Camp Atterbury, both close at home and yet also far away. I think about your experience down in Mississippi when folks were, again, in need of resources now, and you were going door to door after the disastrous effects of Hurricane Katrina. And I think about you traipsing back home to Kentland in Newton County and speaking to the Kentland Rotary Club about the importance of law. And you and your wife creating a scholarship for South Newton High School students to be able to pursue their dreams. And it's that, how do I help near and far, that's that constant thread throughout your life. Needless to say, and I mentioned this the last time we were gathered here, that the love of the law runs deep in the Molter family. Your family tree has deep roots, and it goes all the way back to great Aunt Agnes, who was born in 1893 and was actually appointed by one of my predecessors. He's not up here today, but Governor McNutt, to serve as the first prosecutor in a newly created attorney in the newly created district in Newton County. And I think it's safe to say that Aunt Agnes is looking down today and smiling ear to ear. Your accomplishments are long. They are impressive. And I think, again, maybe among the number one accomplishment, certainly something that always creeps into our previous conversations, maybe I should say three, is Michael, Samuel, and Mallory, you and Katie's three children. Obviously, you are filling big shoes. And for these reasons, and many, many more, I couldn't be more confident in you to become Justice Molter. And you will, I predict, make that extraordinary impact and your own unique mark on our state judiciary and those who are affected by it. Justice Molter, Justice David has left an indelible mark on the court and on our state and on our people. And you are a worthy successor to his service. And now it's time for you and your talents to come to bear and create your own legacy as the newest member of the Indiana Supreme Court. Congratulations.
Thank you, Governor Holcomb. I am grateful not just for your kind remarks today, but for the professionalism, diligence, and courtesy you have shown throughout this process, along with your legal team and the Judicial Nominating Commission. And I'm especially honored to have been considered for this position alongside two of Indiana's finest public servants, and Judge Dana Kenworthy and Justin Faulkner. It is surreal to me that my life has traveled a path where I have been blessed to learn at the elbow of Hoosier legal legends. Beginning my career learning as a law clerk for U.S. District Court Judge Teresa Springman, then litigating appeals alongside my former partner and former Supreme Court Justice Myra Selby, now serving on the Court of Appeals alongside former Chief Justice and now Senior Judge Randall Shepard, and with the next step to be serving under the steady leadership of another legendary figure in our state's history, Chief Justice Loretta Rush. And most importantly, with this next step, I will endeavor to advance the legacy of Justice Stephen David. When I try to think of anyone else whose public service resembles the heights of Justice David's, I really can't. But the closest I can ever come is to consider Justice Robert Jackson, one of our nation's most respected Supreme Court justices who, like Justice David, is often remembered for the variety of public service roles he filled, and who is as widely respected for his contributions to military justice and international law as he is for his contributions from the civilian appellate bench. None of us can match that service, but what we can do, and what I will strive to do, is follow one of Justice David's most important examples. As is often recognized, Justice David wears a bracelet on his wrist every day, and that bracelet says, "The rule of law always." I hope to honor his service by ensuring that my own service lives up to his creed. As a lawyer who has practiced before our Supreme Court, and now as a judge who works with the court and whose work is reviewed by the court, I've long revered the Supreme Court and the justices who serve on it. And part of what I've admired is that as this court goes about its work, its first step towards being respected is being respectful. It is respectful of all parties who come before it, mindful that while a case may have the court's attention because of its statewide impact on the law, the parties are often in the midst of the most difficult moment in their lives or in their business. The court is respectful to counsel, understanding that the right to counsel finds fulfillment in an environment which draws out the best in attorneys, never diminishing them in a misguided attempt to appear elevated next to them. Our Supreme Court respects the limits of its roles in our divided government, understanding that the separation of powers is the most important tool for protecting liberty. But while respecting those limits, the court also understands its solemn obligation to uphold the promises of our Constitution. In short, our Supreme Court stays in its lane, but it fully occupies that lane. Now, as excited as I am for this opportunity, it does come with a cost. I will greatly miss getting to work alongside my Court of Appeals colleagues each and every day. Since my first day on the court, they have all been gracious and patient. Every one of them has made me a clearer thinker, a better writer, and a more devoted public servant. I cannot thank them enough. And finally, I'll note that today reveals another blessing and a blessed life, and I'm grateful to be surrounded by family members who have made it so. My parents, Dan and Kate Molter, my mother-in-law, Christine McCauley, my wife, Katie, and my children, Michael, Samuel, and Mallory. Again, Governor Holcomb, Chief Justice Rush, Judicial Nominating Commission, thank you for this tremendous opportunity, and I look forward to serving Hoosiers in this new role.
Welcome, Judge, soon-to-be Justice Molter. We're looking forward to you coming. It's a high bar, it's a big job, has a lot of responsibilities. Our judicial system in Indiana, have millions of Hoosiers stand before our benches. We have about 19,000 lawyers that were in charge of the admission and discipline. We have about 600 trial court judges. You will become a face of justice as being one of the 5 of us on a court of last resort. We look forward to welcoming you. We look forward to the work that you're going to be doing. I know I have a couple members from the JNC here today, and I need to thank you. I see Danny Lopez. Do we have any other ones? For the hundreds of hours of work that was put into your selection. And time again, you just rise. And we expect you to do nothing but that. I hate to say that I'm a taskmaster, but I am. Some people duck when they see me because they know I'm probably going to ask them to do something. But I appreciated when you came on the Court of Appeals. I gave you about a month, and then you and I had some conversations. What could you do? And you went through all our different committees, and you looked at commercial courts, civil jury instructions, and you've stepped up. So we're counting on that. We're counting on you stepping up. We're counting on you being that face of justice throughout the state of Indiana. We have a 200-year history of institutional integrity. Public trust is our capital. So continue to do that. I look forward to decades to come of Justice Derek Molter doing good things in Indiana. So on behalf of my colleagues that are here, and I need to thank all of them, what an excellent group to work with, welcome. And then I have a binder for you up in my chambers for after this meeting.
We can open it up to any questions that are on topic, and I'll make myself available. I'll throw myself in the back if you have other questions that are unrelated to this appointment. Any questions?
Morning.
When you said, when the governor said the word originalist, what exactly does that mean for people who may not necessarily be familiar with constitutional interpretation?
The basic idea is that we interpret legal text like a constitution, consistent with the understanding of that text at the time it was enacted or ratified. The virtue of that philosophy is that it anchors the court to ensure that it's exercising its judicial role. Under our separation of powers, that's the only role the judges are here to perform. They're not here to perform the legislative role. And so the virtue of that philosophy is that, again, it keeps the court in that lane while fully occupying that lane to ensure that it's only exercising the judicial power.
The court has now gotten less diverse over the last 2 or 3 decades. Should New Jersey be worried about the lack of diversity in their state-sized court?
So under the leadership of Chief Justice Rush, the court has made a core part of its mission advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion. Justice David has been a key leader in that effort. That's certainly an important part of the court's mission, and I look forward to doing my part to continue that legacy and advance that ball forward.
When you got that phone call that you were going to receive this role, what went through your mind?
Pride, excitement. It was great.
One of the things that the governor talked about that he's looking for is someone who can recognize the way that the courts need to evolve and adapt, particularly in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. What ways do you see the court system needing to do that?
It needs to continue its trend of utilizing technology, collaborating statewide, working well with the trial judges who are on the front lines all over this state, and continuing to collaborate with one another. Our court is filled with extraordinary talent. They all learn from each other. They work well together. And so what we need to do is continue doing that.
Every justice kind of has an area or two, or maybe more, that they like to really attack and lead on. Obviously, you haven't even taken this out officially yet, but is there an area that you're looking forward to kind of being a leader on with them?
So I come with no agenda for 2 reasons. One, I think that's the appropriate approach to take to the job, to integrate with my colleagues first. And secondly, I know whatever I say will triple the number of transfer petitions on that topic.